everyone.
Hello.
Most of you know me, probably a little too well, some of you know me. My name is Jessica, and I am here today to introduce to you a little bit more in depth about our meeting roles and responsibilities. As you can tell, even some of us who have been in Toastmasters for a while, we need refreshers on what we're supposed to be doing and when we do it. So I'll go through all of the roles today and give you a little bit of heads up as far as what you should be doing during the meeting, prior to the meeting, and things along those lines. The main point to having roles to the meeting is so that the meeting flows well, so that it works, and so we get to have some fun. When we all know what we're supposed to be doing and we don't have to worry about the other person or persons not knowing what they're doing and do we have everything going right, we get to just flow along and it works and it's all the puzzle pieces fit together. The first person to get our meeting up, running, and going well is our Sergeant at Arms. This person, unfortunately, hardly ever gets enough recognition. In our club, thankfully, our room is already pretty set up, so we don't have to do too much. But there are some Sergeant at Arms that need to put out tables and chairs and maybe find a different room every month, or whatever the case may be. So we are kind of lucky in that regard. But that Sergeant of Arms, Anne is our Sergeant of Arms, she goes in and puts all of those lovely little signs so that our guests actually know how to get to this room and actually know how to find us. If we didn't have a Sergeant at Arms, if our room wasn't able to be found, if our room wasn't set up when the meeting started, it would just be chaos. That's the basic of it, and then, they have to break everything down. If you're nice, you help the Sergeant of Arms do these things so it's not all on them. Because Toastmasters is a group thing. It's a culture thing that we're all together, and I like to call us a little family, at least here at Solar Speak. So help out your family members every once in a while. The second biggest role of the evening is generally your Toastmaster. That's your MC, your entertainer. That person keeps the meeting flowing. We have a nice, scheme of things. If you have a fun Toastmaster, they put in some sort of theme. If it's Justin, he takes the theme a little too far and actually gets us a snow day on his snow day theme. So the Toastmaster is going to use the agenda. Generally, they're the person that helps get the agenda set up and printed and brought to the meeting. The brought to the meeting is the important part. I've printed the agenda and left it at home before. So, there's a lot of little points you have to remember as the Toastmaster. The Toastmaster is going to work really hand in hand with the VP of Education to make sure the roles are right prior. And in the case of this evening, when things happen and somebody can't do their speech or roles aren't right on the sign-up sheet, the Toastmaster is the person that's really supposed to be able to figure that out and get roles filled and really make that all happen. During the meeting, the Toastmaster is the main person in charge of handing off the stage. This stage should never be empty if it doesn't have to be. We hand off the stage with a handshake. This is one of the things we try and get our guests to learn right off the bat. After a speech, before a speech, handshake, after and before each table topics, and that's the table topics master's job. We always want to have a handshake, and even more importantly, we always want to have applause. As Justin had mentioned last week, the applause is really just to get us, we're up here, we're doing something that makes us feel a little uncomfortable. Like, give us some applause, make us feel better about ourselves, give us a little hoot and holler. Come on, this is hard work sometimes. Some of the other cool things that the table master gets to do is ask for your timers report at the end of the speeches. And then even better, the Toastmaster gets to give the awards at the end. How cool is that? Getting to shake somebody's hand and be like, congratulations! Or, good job, this was your first speech. Or, I remember the first time Frank won a ribbon, he was like the most excited person in the world. It made me want to hug him. Like, that's so cool to get to be that person that, if it is that person's first ribbon they're winning, and you get to be the person to give it to them, that's a really cool part of being the Toastmaster. Our general evaluator sometimes doesn't get as much recognition as he should either, he or she, obviously. Because they get to compare and contrast both the meeting as a whole and how everything's running from did we start on time to do we think we're going to end on time, because we never know at that point. Our lovely Frank is such an idealist sometimes. We love him for that. But we run long sometimes. We run short sometimes. Our second meeting ending at 8:30. We ended at 8:15. It was like amazing. I don't think we had to end it at 8:15 in a really long time. So you never know what's going to happen when you're up there on general evaluator, but it's getting to kind of forecast and see, okay, so much has happened this far, and then we get to have a little bit more to the end. You get to evaluate the evaluators, who they have a really tough job sometimes. I mean, especially someone evaluating someone of Wayne or Rich's caliber. How do you find something wrong with them? Like, really? Or Patty when she's telling a story. It's so difficult to get up here and be like, well, I really think next time you should comb your hair a little bit more. I don't know. So the general evaluator really has a tough job to give them some positive feedback and, go from there and build them up and tell them they did a good job or help them give a better evaluation next time. And it's all about learning and growing here. So that's the general evaluator's job, is to really help us learn and grow as a whole. The table topics master. This part is so much fun, and I would say at least half of Toastmasters probably think table topics is the most excruciating and best part of the meeting ever. I love table topics because I'm a chatterbox, so I'll talk about anything. But it really gives everybody the chance to think on your feet. Now there's a couple things you need to remember as the table topics master. This time is not about you. Don't get up here and open up your table topics with a 5-minute discussion about what you're talking about and how it's supposed to work. Simple, easy explanation, jump right into it. And that goes for your comments too. You don't want to, jump into your own story about somebody else's story that they just told in table topics, because it's really about getting as many people up here to talk as possible. With that being said, I know I'm kind of a bad example in this, is that I really love to stump people in table topics. If I could get them like a really brain think question, that's where I have my fun. But table topics is really supposed to be about real world stuff. And it's fun to definitely throw those in there every time. But we want to remember that it's about being able to have conversation with somebody out of nowhere. That type of conversation happens every single day. So don't go so over the top where, that would never actually happen in real life on a regular basis. Like I said, every once in a while it's fun to have a little extra picking and poking at your little family members in here. And always have a backup for those guests who are looking at you going, I'm not coming up there. Make sure you have some backup easy questions that they can answer, and make sure you preface that in the beginning of your table topics master speech. Well, I have some hard stuff for the people I already know, but new people, don't worry, I got you covered. Make sure that they feel comfortable being a guest here and that they have the opportunity to speak. Our Wizard of Oz. I'm so happy we changed the name of that. It's so much cooler. This person is so important. Every day, I don't know about you, but after becoming a Toastmaster, I can't help but count people's ums and ahs and blah, 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 blahs. And it drives me crazy, especially when I am at a conference or something, and somebody is up there and umming and ahhing away. I really want to pull the person aside and be like, I have something that's going to help you. Just listen to me. And it makes me want to hug them a little bit and be like, we're going to fix this for you. Because it's almost embarrassing to be giving a speech where someone paid, $500 for the weekend or, $25 for the hour, whatever it is, and you're up there stumbling and bumbling over your words. The thing about the Wizard of Oz, and just in general having our Oz counted, is that practice does make perfect. But if we don't know what we're doing wrong, we can't perfect it. So yeah, it's a little difficult sometimes to hear that you had 17 so's and 12 likes and 18 ums and my first ums and ah count was, it hurts to think about a little bit. But I'm much better now, and it's exciting, and yes, I definitely have some days where I'm like, oh, that was awful. But for the most part, it's definitely better. And we get that because we practice and because we have somebody pointing them out and going, you still had 12 so's today. So and like. They're my words. I don't know why. And then our grammarian. There's two awesome parts about the grammarian. One, thankfully in here, I don't think too many of us have really awful grammar. But if we did, it's a learning experience and we get to fix that. Again, we don't know the mistakes we're making unless somebody points them out. But two, you get a little bit of like a pat on the back every once in a while because the grammarian's like, what you said was awesome and it totally stood out and I really liked it. And that feels really cool. And then the word of the day. That's another one of those things kind of along the table topics master thing where you can really push the word and try and get everybody to use something totally out of the box that they would never ever use in their life. Or you can pick one of those words that's probably been used here or there in somebody's regular vocabulary and try and find ways for them to use it a little bit more. I encourage the second one a little bit more often than not, because we do see a lot of those, you'll never see this word again, but try and use it. Or like the 7-syllable words, which nobody can pronounce. So it's scary enough when you're up here trying to talk for 2 minutes, and then you have to add in a word, and then you just end up sanguine because you're embarrassed and don't know what to do. Yeah, that's right, I used the word of the day today, in the grammar section. Our next one is our timer and the vote counter. As the timer, you're keeping us on track. There's so many places that we can just go completely over time, and we can end up being here till 10 o'clock at night because a speech went super long, or table topics, somebody talked for 5 minutes on what's supposed to be a 2-minute table topic. The timing portion is so important. We've all been in that conversation where you're like, I said I've had to leave 4 times already, and this person just isn't getting it. We need to know when to be able to wrap things up and put things on point. And they do all the vote counting. We had the timer do the vote counting here in SolarSpeak because it was I'll do it, and then people that were giving speeches were also counting votes, and it got all sorts of crazy and hectic. This way we combine it all and it's good to go. At SolarSpeak, we also have a couple other things: our educational minute, our humorous, and our thought of the day. These are just little bits and pieces. Educational minute, 2 to 3 minutes, and the humorous and the thought of the day run from 30 seconds to about 90 seconds to share something with us. Build that relationship, inspire us, make us laugh, help us learn. We try and make the educational minute really Toastmasters related. But other than that, it's really just a chance for somebody else to get up here and talk and get out of their box and open up our eyes a little bit. The speaker. It's all about you when you're up here. Doesn't matter what else is going on. You can ignore the red light. You can ignore everybody like sleeping in the back. Whatever you have to do. Have fun. Know your objectives. Prior to the meeting, talk to your evaluator so they know what you want to accomplish. Know your goals. Make sure you bring your manual so you can actually get credit for the talk that you're doing. Because half of the point of being in Toastmasters is getting the credit. Yeah, you get a cute little certificate, but that certificate feels kind of cool the first time you get it. It's like, hey, look, I got my CC. People are like, what's that? And then you can talk for 10 minutes about what a CC is. Come on, that's awesome. Things to do when you're the speaker, make sure you show up early. Today, I had slides. Oh my God. This projector never likes to work. It failed, I think, 7 times in a row on people a few months ago. Just completely did not work for one reason or another. Come in, make sure all of your props are set up for you. One big thing is if you're the second or third speaker, try not to be looking over your notes. You want attention from everybody just as much as everybody wants your attention. So be there and just make sure you find your spots on the floor because there's a lot of floor that we can use. Finally, we have our evaluators who are all about do a great job and give positive feedback and encourage people for getting up here. Like I said before, it's kind of a bit difficult to get up here and talk in front of people, whether they're your best friends or complete strangers. We like to do the sandwich. So it's positive feedback, positive. And I say positive feedback in a critique manner. So things that you can do better for the next time. And we always say next time because that just makes it a little bit softer and it gives the idea that there's always room for improvement and that you can do this again because it's not a complete fail. Overall, teamwork is essential and it's our way of succeeding. So, a quote from Henry Ford, coming together is a beginning, keeping together is a progress, and working together is success. So thank you all.